only been something I've been doing my entire life.
I know that's
So
right.
I don't understand how this like became a new hot concept.
When I heard quiet quitting, I thought that peeps were literally just like not showing back up for work.
I've never been a timid person in my life. Like
Mhm.
I was real cutthroat. I kind of exhibit the same traits now. Like I put everything on the table, and if you don't like it, go to the next table. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit.
The human race is divided in two distinct sexes, male and female. While the typical man is a simple creature, there exists a subgroup, the nice guy, a dying breed of chivalrous, romantic, domesticated gentlemen whose qualities are desired by the opposite sex, allegedly. However, they are dismissed and confined in such concepts as the bestie, work husband, and the dreaded friend zone. Joe, Jason, and Manny are the last of the nice guys.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to a new episode, a long gestating, long anticipated, much awaited, insert random shit here episode of Last of the Nice Guys. I'm your host, Jason, with my co host, Manny, and we're here to discuss something smooth and buttery. All right, that's it. I'm good. I'm done. What's going on, guys? Sorry for the wait. I know it's been weeks or months. How long has it been since we had another episode?
About a month.
About a month ago. So I apologize. We insert random excuse here. We apologize. We're gonna try and make sure we're more current. I do appreciate all, I guess, the new listeners because you guys have been listening to our back catalog because my analytics have been, I don't want to say on fire, but definitely smoldering because you guys have been listening to something. Send us comments and emails. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking about the back catalog of our episodes. This is episode 82, and you guys have been watching and listening to these other episodes in the past, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. We can do a Nice Guys Response 4. So you guys love Nice Guys Response 3, bring it up. So with that being said, today's topic is the fantastic concept of quiet quitting. We're going to get into that today on The Last of the Nice Guys. Manny, before I give the actual definition, what do you know about this phenomenon known as quiet quitting?
No, it's only been something I've been doing my entire life.
I know that's
So
right.
I don't understand how this like became a new hot concept, in recent days.
I just think they just labeled it. They just labeled it,
Yeah, they just gave it a
They
name,
just gave it a name.
which they've been doing with everything in recent weeks and days, how everything has a name now.
Everything is identifiable. Everything has
It's yeah.
an adjective or a label.
So it's definitely interesting. So yeah, I pretty much have a great idea because I heard about it. I read the article. I wanted to discuss it at one point. I just didn't know which podcast we were going to discuss it on.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, it was going to be like insert definition here, and be like,
Yep.
I've been doing that forever. So
He sounds so proud. He
you
sounds so
youngins,
proud.
you just starting to learn
But
this
don't you
now.
take offense to the term? Let's get into it in a minute. Let me first get this article comes from
I don't like the term at all. No.
Exactly. This article comes from somayak.bulletin.com. Wow. Oh, because Sowmya is the person who actually wrote this. Okay, cool. So quiet quitting is doing your job exactly how it's done. That's it. So it's not let me see, where is it? The phrase comes from where else? The kids on TikTok. So this is the TikTok thing. They brought this up. It says, I learned about this term called quiet quitting, where you're not outright quitting your job, but you're quitting the idea of going above and beyond at work. You're still performing your duties, but you're no longer subscribing to the hustle culture mentality that work has to be your life. The reality is it's not, and your worth as a person is not defined by your labor. So the concept is simple enough. Do your job, but don't kill yourself. Going above and beyond is optional, not mandatory, as many of us have been indoctrinated to believe. That is basically the concept of quiet quitting. It's doing your job competently as written by the job description upon which you applied for. I don't agree with the term at all. When I heard quiet quitting, I thought that peeps were literally just like not showing back up for work.
Yeah,
They didn't quit. They just ghosted the
leaving,
job
going on a lunch date, you know, whatever, just not coming
not
back
coming
from
back.
lunch.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was, because I was like, okay, cool. That's kind of fucked up, but I get it. Some jobs do deserve to be quietly quit. Just don't show up. Where you at?
Right.
Don't answer the phone. Ghost them like what the ladies do.
I've
So
done that.
what, to a job?
Yeah.
The closest I've done that to is when I was working at Barry University, and first I was the fry cook, then I was the grill guy, then I was a PM baker. They just shafted me, but they respected me enough that they didn't want to fire me, so they made me. Mind you, I went from being a fry cook and a PM baker to the morning attendant to fill the cereals in the dispensers, and I just hated it. And so one day I came in, I filled all the cereals, I put everything ready to go for the morning. I went to the boss and said, I'm quitting. I filled everything out. Good luck. I'm out. And that's as close as I ever came to quiet quitting. Tell us your story.
So there was a insert random bar's name here that I used to work for.
I love Duffy's.
And I used to always also work at a insert random casino's name here.
I love Duffy's too.
And I got the casino job secondly. So the bar was the first job, but the bar was also a part-time job.
Right.
And the casino was a full-time job. So
I think your priorities were askew, but okay.
Yeah, I was also like in my early 20s. So it was like I was all the money that I earned, I didn't put it towards anything smart. I just drank it all.
Right.
And
young,
partied.
Young, dumb, and horny. Gotcha.
Right. So yeah. So anyway, so I was doing that for a while or whatever. And then one morning at the bar, it was like super, super slow. And I was like, hey, I gotta work in a few hours. Can I just go home real quick? Cut me off. I'm the first bar to get cut anyway. Cut me now so I can go home, get a little nap in, and then work another 12 plus hour day. And they're like, well, actually, we need everybody to stay tonight and clean the main bar, this and that, whatever. I was like, you got 5 other guys there. You're gonna do just fine without the one. Like any other night, I'm fine. Like we could do this tomorrow. Like it's okay, whatever. Like I'm really not feeling it today. Like I'm tired. Like it's actually hitting me. Like whatever. And it was just I was burnt out, and it was an adamant no. We're not changing this. We're not. You got to stay. Everybody else is staying. Why should we make an exception for you? Type nonsense. So I was like, cool. Cool. So they closed my bar out, and then everybody else, cool. And then everybody else was like, why, because again, the bar that I worked at the time, it was like it gets cut like 2 to 3 hours before the main bar closes. So I had time to do nothing, and I was supposed to just sit there for 3 hours to clean the main. Like I was like, this is the stupidest shit I've ever heard. So I told everybody, I was like, yeah, I think I'm done. And they're like, what do you mean? Yeah, I'm done. Are you done for the night? No, I'm done. I'm done doing this 2-job nonsense. Like, my other job, it's full-time benefits. I make decent money over there, and I've never been told no shit like I was told tonight. So I was like, I'm done. And everybody was just like, no, don't leave, bro. We're like a family here. It's not gonna be the same without you. I was like, you guys were here before I was, so you'll be fine. Sorry. So I had left, and I snuck out the back door, I went to my car, and I just left. I cleaned my bar. I did my responsibility.
Right.
I didn't do half-ass work. And then I left, and then the manager started calling me. And then the other bartender started calling me, and then one of them left me a drunk message. I was like, "Come on, bro, it's fucked up, bro. What you doing, bro? Don't kill the family.
Don't kill the family.
Don't kill the family.
Don't kill the family, bro." Never, you ever seen? Have you ever seen? Have you ever seen How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah.
Don't kill the bar, bro. Don't kill the bar. Don't kill the bar party.
But it was so funny because like if anybody else heard that message besides me, it would have sounded like a friend of mine was trying to stop me from killing an actual family.
Yes,
like that's how inept he was in the voicemail. It was just, bro, don't kill the family, bro. You gotta come back. You gotta think with the right head this time, and come on, bro. We all love you. Don't do this.
Does he think that your dick made you quit like that? Like, is that what he's saying?
He was inebriated. It was
Right.
funny. And I was just like, whatever, it's fine. And then the manager at the time also left me a message, or the next day actually, and he said, I feel kind of bad about what happened. Sorry, nonsense. If you want to sit back, if you want to come back over here and have a conversation, and address the situation, maybe we can work something out or whatever. And I kindly called him back, and I was like, yeah, I appreciate the apologies and the after sympathy effect.
Hindsight is everything.
But I'm definitely good, because if it happened that easier last night, it's gonna happen again. So and then I said, and the difference is, like I don't stake my life with anything or anybody, because at the time I also had my son, obviously young father.
Right.
So if you're telling me that I can't make sure that I safely drive home at a certain time, and you're telling me to stay longer so that I can not, even worse, drive safely home, you can go fuck yourself. I said, so respectfully, no, I'm not going back to work there, because the next time if I did go back and the next time something like this happened, we wouldn't be exchanging words. It wouldn't have been words. Like the moment you told me no, I would have blacked out. And in my early 20s, that would have definitely happened. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. So for your safety and mine, I'd rather not. I'm good. I'll stay and be where I'm actually appreciated and treated like a person.
Oh, fuck.
And then I hung up the phone. And then
I like it. Don't kill the bar, man. Don't kill the bar.
Yeah,
bro.
like it was funny, but that was like the only time I was like, you know what, I'm done. I just walked off the job.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been other times in my adult life where, like, there was one time in insert random retail store name here.
I love the Gap.
It was Baby Gap. It sorry, get on my clothes. So
all them tight tees.
They had an issue with
tighter tee.
Choke them. They had an issue with night deposits with my store, and at the time my regional manager came down and was like, hey, listen, this is what's going on. We're missing some money. And so I'm like, well, hey, listen, I have all the slips here. The bank's got everything. I don't know what to tell you. And that manager left the company. So another manager from another area, like let's say West Palm Beach, came down to watch over our area and immediately started pointing the finger at me and was just like, you're responsible for this. It's your fault. All this money is gone and this and that, whatever, what have you. And we're going to suspend you. And I was just like, wow. I was like, under what claims, what proof, what do you have exactly? And they're like, oh, you're the only store in this district that has, all of these deposits missing, all this money is missing, whatever have you. And you want to be the showboat of the group and this. And I'm like, what are you talking? Like, you don't even know me. Like, I've never sat with you and spoken to you, whatever. And you're just slinging shit at me. I was like, okay, cool. So bottom line, I'm suspended. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. Cool story. So I started looking for work, and I got hired at Winn-Dixie or something as a grocery manager. Oh, I'm sorry. Insert random grocery.
I love Winn-Dixie.
So when they called me back, they were like, oh hey, so during the investigation, we were able to uncover that there was a bank teller that was doing something funny with the money, yada yada, what have you.
Money with the money.
So yeah, it was crazy. He was doing it to like not just our accounts, but like other accounts in the bank. And again, this was like early 2000s, so it's not as tied up as it is now. So he's like, so we're happy to welcome you back, and we apologize. I'm like, cool story. So I'm actually at work right now. And he goes, wait, what? You're here at the store? No. I actually, you know what? You can take that job and shove it up your ass. And whoever's ass told you that it was a great idea to fire me, good luck in finding somebody who cared as much as that store, because I opened it as I did. So good luck. And then I hung up, and I've visited that store in recent weeks because I just driving around, and I was like, yeah, this store looks like shit now. I would have never let it get this bad. I was like, yeah, whatever, it's all good. But I guess that was another example of what we old folks would have thought quiet quitting was.
Quiet quitting is right.
What the terminology actually should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's I think those are the two times that I've ever just like, I'm done. But actually, no, I think I worked for Ford and did the same thing. I asked one question and I didn't get the answer that I thought I was gonna get, and I was like, thanks for the opportunity, I'm out. Wait, what? Yeah, bye. And I just walked out.
Damn. Oh, you were a beast. You were a beast in your
listen,
youth.
I didn't, my thing was like, I'm a lot more calmer now, but if you keep pressing that red button, I will fuck you up. But yeah, in my early 20s, I was like, listen,
the red button.
Don't touch this button. And when I was, about 15 years ago, 15, 16, 20 years ago, right? No, I'm not. Oh shit. My early 20s, sorry. Yeah. I was just, I had my son, and again, I was doing everything. I went hard for my son, and he was. I was just like, I'm not taking anybody's shit. If anybody gives me shit, I'll give it right back to you 10 times. Like I am not a fighting force. And I would fight back a lot. I would be like, cool.
Manny was a lioness. He was a lioness, and he would claw your eyes out.
I would, rawr.
Rawr. What was that? There's a TikTok. I don't know if I sent it to you. It was a guy's impression of a gay owl.
The gay owl, yeah.
He goes, who? So when you went rawr, what the fuck was that?
But yeah, I was definitely like the king of the king of the jungle back then, and the pride leader. Like you could not fuck with me. Like that was it. Like there were times where I've had employees that were young, and they'd be like, "Oh man, I didn't mean to do this. I didn't mean to do that." I'm like, "Cool story." I said, "But the funny thing is, it happened." I said, and you know what else makes it even worse? If it keeps happening, it makes me look bad. And when I look bad, that's an attack on my job.
Yep.
And when that's an attack on my job, that's an attack on putting food in my son's mouth. So guess where we're cutting the ties at right now?
Woo.
Oh, I won't do it again. I'm like, you've done it twice. That's enough for me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's the door. Like I was real cutthroat back then too. Like
I
didn't give a shit about nobody.
See, I'm making fun of you, but that's how I'm trying to teach my son now, because I was very timid in my 20s. I was the exact opposite. As you were hardcore, I was very timid. You could roll over my ass easy in my early 20s. I mean, for a decade. But whether it was their kid's mom, a job, women, they rolled over me. So what I'm teaching my son now, who's currently in the workplace, I said, listen, you are at that age right now where you don't have to work. So you don't have to take any shit. I know you like the freedom of the money, but you don't need it. And I'm giving you a hard time. You don't have any bills to pay. So what I'm saying is, don't take any shit that you don't have to take.
Exactly.
Build that backbone up now, because when you do need the money, you'll still be able to have that self-respect. Something I was never taught.
What this is about.
Exactly.
And it's so funny because like I've never been a timid person in my life. Like I was real cutthroat, and I kind of exhibit the same traits now. Like I put everything on the table, and if you don't like it, Go to the next table. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit. I kind of exist. So everybody that's known me for a good portion of my life has seen what I've dealt with in recent name marital issues here.
I love marital issues.
I love Lifetime TV. Hallmark cards, yeah.
That ain't Lifetime. That's an HBO After Dark special.
Showtime, bitches.
Even that.
You know, they look at me and they're like, how did you like you were never that person? Like, how did you how? Like that's not you. And I'm like, you're right. And I gotta become that person again because no one knows that person
what can I say?
until you pull it out.
Was good. What can I tell you? The pussy was good. So I mean that's what they say.
Cut. I'm done. Where's my
get out of here, take the mic off. But I mean, yeah, I feel you. I absolutely feel you, you know, about that. But you see, but to swing back to the topic at hand, I find quite quitting just as offensive as the nice guy term.
But
maybe offensive too strong, condescending, insulting.
It parallels the term, definitely. I mean, it's still a bad term within itself, like quiet quitting, like but
I'm quite quitting because I'm doing the job that you hired me for.
That you hired me to do,
exactly. And because I'm not doing one check overboard, that means I'm quiet quitting. No, I'm doing my job competently. That's it. That's what
you know. The funny thing is that there's an adverse effect that managers and bosses have been doing now in lieu of this quiet quitting thing, which is they've donned quiet firing, where they have you doing the menial tasks that no one likes to do to force you to quit.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, you want to quietly quit and just do the bare minimum to get your job back? Cool story. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the bare minimum of what that stuff is over there that you need to go do because you got to do it. It's your job.
Yep.
Have a nice day.
Yep. So and then we're gonna watch you, and we're gonna put you in a situation, and we're gonna be hyper focused on you. And if you don't do the task exactly as it is, we write you up. They make your life a living hell.
That's exactly what's been going on.
Where I'm currently employed, and I don't know if this is the standard anywhere else, and I find it to be incredibly ridiculous because they have a policy of what's called no consequences. You can report something and get no repercussions from your people as long as you did it in good faith, right? Fine. And it's anonymous. You know what's not anonymous? If I'm working for you, Manny, I'm doing my job, we're good, we're on good terms, but I'd like to move on. You know, I'm trying to do something else. So I go on the career site and I apply for something else just because I want to see what else is out there. Before the person that I applied for gets my application, you get a notification, hey, your employee just applied for this position, FYI. So how does that make the your immediate supervisor or superior feel at that moment? What the fuck? You're trying to leave? All right, cool. I'll either set you up to not get to leave and block you from leaving, or make your life a living hell. Because if you're gonna leave anyway, then I might as well kick you out. I don't want you in this company anymore. That is the most insulting thing about where I work right now, is that I cannot apply. And I'm not saying that I want to, but I cannot. Actually, great example. So the IT department was or is courting me. I don't know what happened. They contacted me and said, listen, we heard a lot about you. We think you'd be great for IT. I said, do you have any affinity toward IT? I said, honestly, I don't really like computers like that. I'm very proficient with them. I'm good at what I do. They're like, listen, hear us out. It's a salary job. You work from home. They give me the whole spiel. They courted me. They said, just apply. Let's talk about it. I said, sure. Completely forgot that my manager was going to get that email. So I applied. I applied and just applied, right? And I didn't think anything of it. Next morning, great guy. My manager is literally the best manager I've had since the best. Mind you, I've only had 2 really good managers in the entire 17 years I worked for this organization. Both of them were men. That's another topic I want to talk about: working for, with, and under women. God help me. The 2 best managers. It's true. The 2 best managers I've ever had in this organization, in this system, were both men, and they were both cool as shit. And he's a cool guy. So he next morning comes in and says, Jay, let me holler at you. They're cool. He closes the door. He points to his screen and is like, this you? I go to scream, heart goes into my chest and out my ass.
Jesus.
I said, fuck. And so I started stuttering. What happened was, you know what I'm saying? What had happened was, and but whatever. I explained to them. So listen, they were just courting me. They asked me to apply. I'm just hearing them out. I'm not unhappy. I'm not trying to leave, but I was hearing them out. He's like, oh, okay, because he said he was, because I'm freaking out a little bit. I was like, no, I'm happy here. Don't get me wrong. But they were courting him. I think that's the most ridiculous thing, because if he's not a cool boss, or that you don't have a cool boss, and they know you're actively trying to leave, they'll make your life a living hell, and so I never understood that policy, and I always wanted to speak to like HR, like, why would you do that? You do know there's some vindictive, nasty administrators out here that don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to move on. They don't want you to leave their spot. My original male boss said to me, Jason, don't be too good at what you do. That's all he said to me one day, over a decade ago. He came over to me and said, Jason, don't be too good at what you do. As if he knew something. As if he knew I'd be trapped where I was for over a decade. Right. And I was. He said, don't be too good at what you do. I'm saying, what do you mean? He's just like, just hear me on this. He was warning me of something. I don't know what it was, but I know it led to me being trapped where I was before I got the transfer.
I can tell you exactly what it was.
What was it?
So in a company standpoint, right?
Right.
Instead of hiring somebody else to take the load off of you, of doing, tasks that you do normally, right, and you do them well. Even tasks that aren't even your responsibility. The fact that you're doing them.
Right.
Why would we hire random person here?
Right.
If Jason's already doing it? We save money that way. When we save money that way, that's our bonuses at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. No
brainer. Just don't tell Jason that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what it is. If you perform, and that's currently what I'm going through right now, except my manager's like, my hands are tied. I'm fucked. They hate us. What are we going to do? It's like you perform well. And then when something happens or you ask for something, upper management is always like, what for? Why do you need this? Why do you need that? Or why do you want to give this person a raise?
Right.
Show me why you want to give this person a raise. Oh, this person doesn't. Okay, so what kind of raise are we doing? Like $1? Yeah, fine. No, actually, I wanted to give him like 3, 4, 5, maybe. He's saved you guys a lot of money. Whatever. $5. That's a lot. Okay, so you'd rather not pay that person $5 more,
mm-hmm,
an hour, which I don't even know what that equates to,
right,
but you'd rather hire another employee at what, 20, let's just around $20 an hour,
right,
but you won't give him 5.
mm-hmm.
What make that make sense to me? That makes no sense. Which is hilarious, because a lot of these upper managements, they sit behind the desk, they don't know shit.
Right.
All they do is crunch numbers. They don't know the environment and the aptitude it takes. I mean, you'll get a select few that came from there,
mm-hmm,
but even those select few forgot.
Hey, that's what I was gonna say. They forget where they came from.
They forget where they came from,
and
they're behind the desk, and their sole job is to crunch numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And now, because their job is to crunch numbers, they are crunching those numbers and like, oh, listen, if I do better here with this, then that helps me later on. Right. So I got to do my job.
When I was a PM baker, there was an Einstein Brothers bakery inside of Barry University where I originally went to school back when I had potential. And I remember I was finishing making some bagel dogs, okay? And I made these bagel dogs like the shit. I was so good at these damn bagel dogs. And I heard, and I was like, what the fuck? Who the hell is crying? There's nobody around, because it's at the opening of the shift. We haven't opened up yet. So who the fuck is crying?
Insert random scary movie name here.
Exactly. So, so I turn around and something pops out and you get that scared. No. So what happens? So I go over to the manager's office, and there my manager is. My father is calling. That can't be good. I will call him back later. I should put him on speaker while we're on the podcast. I used to do that a lot on Friends with Issues. But I used to do it seriously. That used to be a gimmick. People would call in the middle of that. I'd just put it on speakerphone. You're on speakerphone. What's up? Told you, man, that was a great podcast. Better than this one. Anyway, no, stop.
Wow.
But
Wow.
no, I'll call him back. But I go into her office and I'm like, I forget her name. I'm like, are you okay? What's wrong? She goes, I'm doing the schedule. I'm like, what's what's wrong with the schedule? Why is it making you cry? She says, because everybody needs their hours. Everybody needs their time, and they're making me cut hours. And when I told them that, these people are working for money, I can't do this. She said that the owner said, stop looking at them as people and look at them as numbers, as
Mm-hmm.
dollar signs. And she said when
Yep.
he said that to her, she broke down. He had just said it to her. He had literally just said it to her. He's like, stop looking at them as people and look at them as numbers and dollar signs. Do what you need to do. And she said, he didn't yell at me. He didn't say, he said it as a matter of fact. She said it was so callous and so like, he might as well have just said, it's a sunny day outside. I'll go
Yeah.
frolic. He said it so matter of fact that it broke her soul. And I said,
Yep.
listen, cut my hours. I mean, I'm doing this because I have the time. And actually, I'm saying, you can cut my hours. I can't cut your hours if you're the fucking PM Baker. It's the grunts that we're talking about. I say, cut my hours. You can cut my hours. It'll help cut my hours and give everybody else who needs it. Because I was the only person that was working that didn't need it. I was just doing it because I like independence and I like to have disposable income. I like to have a cushion. So
Right.
that was it. I had work study. I was a DJ. I didn't need it. I just said, oh look, PM Baker. I was a chef assistant once. It's the same thing, right? No. So no, it wasn't.
Nope.
But yeah, so I feel it, but it's just like it's I don't even know there's a thing called hustle culture, but it's weird, man. It's really weird that you have the nerve, and it's funny that the TikTokers use this. Why would you want to belittle the fact that you are working and doing your job competently and adequately? That's it. And you're gonna call that quiet quitting? Why would you put that out there into the universe? Because that's not what
Because
it is. It's
it's
doing your job.
become so norm that when you start working at another job or a brand new job,
Right.
that the mentality is, or even just while working there, is to go above and beyond. Because what stupidness have we been fed our entire teenage to young
Yeah.
adult lives? If you work hard,
Yep. It
you'll
pays
get
off.
something in return. It'll pay off in the end.
That's the alleged American dream, which does not exist
Right.
anymore.
You know,
It's funny. I'm in
you'll
sociology class. We're talking about this right now.
it's so crazy because that's the bullshit that we've been fed our entire lives.
Right.
You work hard, you'll see a promotion in the future, you'll get a raise, you can do this, you can do that, like all sorts of things just by working hard. Just work hard, go above and beyond, work better than your
Work
coworker.
hard, play hard. Work
Because they
hard, we
know
play hard. We
they
party like
know
it's
that
our job. Yeah,
there's a select
Neil.
few that do the bare minimum,
Yeah.
right? And it's not performing to what their standard is, or not
Mhm.
just their standard, but what they need to get done. So
Mhm.
if they have to have something by a certain time, and you have two employees, you have a regular employee that just does, scales down the middle. You have
Right.
another employee that just does the bare minimum. He's under
Mhm.
that level. So you try to get this person who's scaling on the line, like, hey man, if you go above and beyond, you know, um, we can do this and we can do that, and promotions coming in the future. So you'll get this person to make up what this person's not doing,
Mhm.
and you're tricking them, and then you just keep doing it. I mean, how many movies are out there
Yep.
where you'll see, hey, you want to get that promotion, we got to get that blah 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 done, or get this
Mhm.
project done. I smell promotion coming.
Yep.
And then it doesn't happen. It's like, you'll never make partner. You know who you are. You ain't shit. And
Mhm.
it's like, it's always like a heartbreaking movie, but that's the reality of life.
It's
Now,
like Click. I don't know. I mean, it's a dumb movie, but Click. I love Click. Okay. And it was a Watsuhito account. I'll never forget this. He's like, if you land this Watsuhito account, you become like partner.
right.
And he lands the account. He lands it. And the guy said,
And
Did
he
I
doesn't
tell
get it.
you that I said, did I tell you you were gonna get partner, or that we are gonna talk about it? He fast forwards to when he gets partner because he's pissed. He's upset. He spent money he didn't have because he thought he was gonna get the promotion. And so he pressed fast forward on the remote control to when he
Oh,
becomes
the Adam
partner.
Sandler movie. Yeah, the
Yes,
Click
he
movie. I
fast
remember
forward to
now.
the remote control, and he's finally partner. And 10 years went by. It took 10 years after the initial
Yep.
dangling of the keys. And I was like, fuck, I relate to that. So,
But
but
that's the bullshit we get fed,
yeah,
and that's why as a result, people are getting smarter. Like, we can't get fired for doing our job. We can get
right,
fired for not doing our job, but
right.
we can't get fired for not overexertion
But
and going above and beyond.
why would you sit there and call it quiet quitting? I would
It's
understand
this
if you
generation,
were
bro. They
if
have
you were doing
stupid names
beneath
for
it.
everything.
If you were doing, let's say your job has 10 duties and you're doing only 8 duties and still getting a paycheck, or 7 duties, fine, call that quiet quitting. I mean, you're doing beneath your job, and you're still collecting a paycheck. Why would you call doing your job proficiently and adequately to the letter quiet quitting? That is belittling your work ethic. That's belittling your work ethic. Why would you that is a quitting, being a quitter, period. It has a negative connotation. It's negative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
The American people do not value quitters of any kind whatsoever. You don't value when you quit. Well, why? Oh my God. You get fired, it's another thing. It's from what I understand is that people are more readily to accept that you got fired than you quit. Why do you think when you're applying for a new job, there's a why did you leave section?
Mm-hmm.
And I hate filling that part out. I try to actively avoid it. Why do you need to know why I left? I left because I want money. Clearly. What
But
do you mean, why did I leave?
the funny part is you don't have to really address that to the T.
You don't.
It's illegal for HR departments to be asking those sort of questions.
No,
It's
it's true.
there if you give the information freely, but you can
True.
just say very minimal.
No, you're absolutely right. But guess
when it comes
what?
to those lines.
Guess what? When you're omitting these things, that's also a red flag. It's just as bad as saying, "Oh, I arrived late a couple of times." But then if you wrote nothing or you put very vague
No,
responses
yeah,
there, it looks bad on you.
All you have to do is be vague about it. Be like, oh, change of management. That's it.
Yeah,
You don't have to say anything else. Change of management.
you're absolutely right.
Because they can't ask anything else from there.
No, they can't. But then they'll look at that answer and say, "Huh, well, what does that mean? You don't like change? You have a problem with following direction from different people?
Can turn it and twist it into something else.
Which is the problem.
Cool.
Which I'm saying, so you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that this term quiet quitting refers to doing your job as you were
Like the
hired.
bare minimum.
People listen very clearly. When you get hired, it's a contract. You're signing a contract. These are my duties. This is what I'm accepting. Period. Any other place you do a contract, you don't expect them to go above and beyond. It's nice, but you don't expect it. You expect them to hire and perform the task as the contract was signed and as you paid for it. You don't sit there. I mean, can you imagine?
You sign a contract to have a pool guy do your pool, and he has like a few extra bricks left. He's like, "Oh, well, since you paid for these, I'm going to give them to you." No,
exactly.
that motherfucker's going to take them. He's going to take them shits.
Of course. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. So like this. Okay, so my and I actually never brought this up to you guys. I don't think I ever gave you guys a follow-up about how that party for my son, his 18th birthday, went through, and I'm gonna have to do an episode on that so you guys know how that went down. Which it went down really well. Hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. And I thank those, i.e., Manny and Joe, who flew in for this party. I would love to have their testimonials because it was a good party from what I was able to participate in. But I hired a company, Fun Life Miami, okay, to do the surprise entertainment. It's called the Hora Loca, Crazy Hour. Okay, we had dancers, we had drummers, we had a big ass LED robot guy, and I asked them, "Hey, I see that you guys have a smoke cannon that the robot guy shoots in all the videos. Can you let my son do that? Can he shoot the cannon?" And they're like, "Well, not really, because we don't, it's whatever. We don't really do that. I can ask, but no promises." They never got back to me. I said, "Okay, cool, whatever." All right. They made this boy's night because the robot handed him the cannon, and he blasted that shit. I have that on camera. It was the look on his face. He blasted that shit, and just that was it. He was on it. That's above and beyond. If they didn't give him the cannon, you think I would have the nerve to put a bad review or a negative review on Google or whatever about them? No, that wasn't part of the contract. They told me no. They did their job and they made the fucking party, in my opinion. Okay. They
Mhm.
made the party. But because they didn't go above and beyond by giving my son a cannon, which they did. I'm just saying, if they didn't, that's grounds to be like, oh, well, you didn't perform as adequately. Come on now. No, you did the job. So quiet quitting is insulting, TikTok kids. Don't do. Why are you volunteering the establishment to belittle us by using negative terms? I would call it doing my job.
Right.
That's it. You didn't do. You mean
Doing what I got hired to do.
yeah, doing my job. I'm not quite quitting. I'm doing my job. If I want to go above and beyond and be Captain Save-A-Hole on the clock, that's cool. But that should be a choice, not an expectation. It's not a requirement. We don't require anybody to go above and beyond, but you expect it.
Right.
What's the difference between an expectation and a requirement? Really, let's be reasonable. If you expect it, it's kind of an unsaid requirement. It's just a requirement's more set in stone. Like you can actually say, oh, this is what's required. I require you to do this. Well, I expect you to do it. Two different things.
Mm-hmm.
One is implied and one is overtly stated. Nobody wants to be overtly stating anything. Everything's subtle now. Everything's subtle. And again, I'm not saying that I don't go above and beyond at the job that I'm at now. I do occasionally. Absolutely. But it's because I want to. Because I respect my boss. I respect my coworkers. I respect the department that I'm in. I don't think it's expected, and it's definitely not a requirement. And it's definitely not something I would just give freely. The minute, God forbid, the minute I start feeling underappreciated again, I cut that shit right off and do my job.
That's what I did.
And that's and that's just the reality of it. Quiet quitting. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
you're giving them the ammunition.
I've done this before recently, actually. I want to say within the last year. I never gave it a name though. I never was just like, all right, guys, due to insert random jackass's name here, their actions, I'm just gonna go ahead and quietly quit. I never did. I was like, you know what? I'm not doing any more favors. I'm not doing anything else. I'm gonna punch out when it's time to punch out. No more overtime. No more
exactly.
It's not mandated for me to do it. I'm not gonna do it. There's no reason for it to do it. I mean, you can come down to me and say, "Well, I'm telling you, I don't care what you're telling me to do right now because now you're just abusing your authority."
Yep.
And that can't happen either.
Yep.
So I sat there and I've been doing this for a long time, and it's funny that it gets a name. And I'm like, I don't understand, especially the term. Like, I hate the term. Like, call it something else. Like, it's cancel me right now for saying this shit.
Yeah.
But I don't know who in their basement, watching porno in one hand and doing something else stupid on the other hand, like eating a Tide Pod or some stupid randomness. You come up with these terminologies for these names of stuff that has been existing since before you were even born. Just to shed light on it, like, come on, bro. We've been doing this.
Come up with the most negative, nonsensical term for it. You could have called it anything. I used to call it the bare minimum. I said I just do the bare minimum. Right. The bare minimum to me is literally what's black and white. That's the bare minimum. That's the bare minimum.
And if you think about it, on some performance reviews, it says it on there, like as a level. Oh, just barely gets everything done.
Yeah.
Or just skates on, but like. The levels
from our reviews, it's called meet standards.
Right. You meet standards.
And for a while, I just met standards. That's it. I didn't exceed. I wasn't outstanding, and which was fine by me at the time. I was like, whatever it is. I said at my old job, it got so bad was they knew that I did a lot of things in that building, not for the department, for the building. They knew I wasn't at my desk or at my area running the front a minute past 3:30. If they needed me, they would run to try and grab me before 3:30 because they know for a fact by 3:31, my feet are out the door. I am driving off. I'm gone. I didn't stay a minute past 3:30, and I never used to be me. I said, as long as you have me on the clock, I'll do whatever you want. But trust me, I'm not staying a minute over. I don't care who you are, what you do. Well, the patient's running late. I'm sorry. Gotta go. I'm out. I'm out. By 29. I had my bags. As soon as it said 30, I never left my desk a minute earlier than 30. Don't get me wrong. 28, 29, bags are all on my shoulders and I'm ready to go.
Yep.
This is me. 3:30 came, dude, I was sprinting. And nobody could stop me. Oh, I'm right. I'm gone. You didn't clock out yet. What the hell? I logged out. I'm gone. I'm out.
Yeah, it was the same thing with me. It was like you know, you had to do a couple of things before you would, you know, leave. And you know, random person's name would always be like, oh, you know, you still have a couple of more minutes. I'm like, what's your point? Takes me a couple of minutes to walk out this building. You're gonna pay me for my time beyond that? Because if you are, I'll stay clocked in the entire time it takes me, and I'll just take my sweet time going out there.
Yep.
If that's the case. And I always get, why you gotta be like that? Why you gotta be like that? I'm like, listen, bro.
What do you mean? We're
If
here
you
to
don't-
work.
You need to understand something. I am no longer at a point where I freely give away favors. I am no longer at a point where I am willing to do anything to make you look good. That is no longer my job. I do not care. You've shown your cards, you've shown your hand, and now it's time for me to show mine. Because to be honest with you, for you to be a successful person in a position of leadership, you need to have successful employees. And I'm going to do the very bare minimum to not be as successful as I used to be. And when people start questioning why, I will happily tell them why.
Oh, yeah.
Because it starts at the top. And he ain't like that. But you know, everybody needs to understand that I've also been in positions of power, in leadership, and I've never.
And you abused it, right? So you know what it's like.
I abused myself.
see, Manny is he's well-rounded. He was the abuser and the abused, so he has the full scope of it. So he knows.
Listen,
he used to spit on his employees.
The ones, just the ones that I had in the cages.
The ones that went wow.
And but it was just like I said earlier, it's like you get put in a position of leadership and you completely forget where you came from, where you started from.
Forget that. It's simple as this. Empathy. You know, if you were in that position, you wouldn't like it. So why are you doing it? That's how I feel. I get that. And you're absolutely right. You forget where you come from. You don't forget that. Fine. You don't remember where you came from. But don't you want to conduct yourself in a way where you know that if you were treated like that, you would not want that. So why would you visit upon somebody else?
No, and then
it's just basic ethics.
You get certain leaders that are just like, well, I did my time too. I had to be there too. I went through it too. Okay, I get that. You've gone through it. What makes you and gives you the right and authority to pursue that on me?
Right, to perpetuate the cycle. Why would you want to do that to somebody?
That's like going home, right? I was abused as a kid. So because I was abused as a kid, I'm kicking my kid's ass every day. So he knows what it felt like when I went through it.
You know, there's a phrase called "pay it forward." That's not what they meant. They didn't mean that for "pay it forward." Paid forward was nice to me, so I can't. So I'm nice to somebody else in the future. That's paid for. That bullshit is. I went through it, so you must go through it. What the fuck?
Yeah, it was.
What's worse than that is I didn't do it to you.
Exactly. And when I told them that, like, I was like, listen, like, you went through what you went through. I've gone through my own things. So for you to say I've done my time, does that necessarily mean that no one else has? Like, this is the whole thing that perpetuates the quiet quitting nonsense. People are realizing now, especially after all of this COVID nonsense and everybody was locked at home and no one was paying anybody. Everybody's like, I can't live like this anymore. Why am I working hard and getting pennies still? I work normally and get pennies. You might give me an extra penny or two if I work harder, which is stupid because I can't live off of that. So therefore, why stress myself? Because what is the number one thing that has been put forward during all of this in the last couple of years? Mental health. And that is the biggest thing that has pushed this quiet quitting. Because why go above and beyond and stress yourself? Why think about work outside of work? Why do work outside of work? You know, I saw this one TikTok. This girl plays, you know, the employee and the boss is like, oh, so and so, so I'm gonna need you to do this. You're going on vacation next week. I'm gonna need you to make sure that you get all this done before you. Well, I hope that does look like a lot of work, and my vacation starts in an hour and a half, so that looks like 6 hours work there. So I'll get done what I can in an hour and a half. But beyond that, that's somebody else's problem. And then you see the boss is like, but and you can't force me to do it because I'm gonna be oh, well, you know what? You can go ahead and take some of it with you on your vacation. Oh, I'm gonna lose my damn phone. I'm not having my phone on vacation. I don't know. I don't even know the job's number. Like, and it's actually right, because again, we've been fed all of this poo nonsense about working hard, which working hard does get you but you have to work and get it yourself.
Yeah.
Don't work hard and expect somebody else to give it to you. To what do you call it?
See, what, to spoon feed it to you, to endow it? I don't know what you're saying.
No. To reward you. So yeah, don't expect somebody else to reward you when you're working hard, unless you have somebody that actually cares. But unless you have that person on your side, you know, working hard, you have to get everything yourself. Don't expect your manager or their manager to be like, oh, you know, you've done really well this month, so we wanted to give you this. They're not doing it on their own. It's not going to happen.
Sure.
As many jobs and corporations that I've worked for, and you've got an HR department that comes down like, oh, you know, we've really done well this year, and we wanted to have like a pizza party for everybody. So here's some pizza, everybody, and yay! And then, like,
pizza, no ice cream.
Pizza, no ice cream, no drinks. Like, how am I supposed to wash it down? We got some water, that nasty ass water that you give to the peasants. I don't want that shit.
But that's where it comes to that phrase, work smart, not hard.
Right.
You know, meaning, and I don't think, okay, it means, well, don't work hard. No, when I think of work smart, it means work hard, but use your brain and notice and realize when it's either not appreciated or it's not serving your goals, and pull back or work hard in a different direction. That's what I believe work smart really means. It's not about, oh, well, do the same work, but find a loophole to get it done. No, that's what it. But when I think of work smart, it is work hard, but be smart about it. Don't get used and abused. Understand your limitations and make sure that this behavior of yours, and I say this all the time, is earned. It's the same phrase I tell my kids about girls, about friends, about anything. If you're going to go above and beyond for a woman, a friend, a family member, a job, the question has to be always first, what have he, she, her, they, them done to earn this behavior from you?
Yep.
I tend to go above and beyond my current job because my boss has earned that respect from me. When I say he's earned it, his boss has earned it from me. My coworkers have earned it from me. They may not know what they've done, but trust me, they've earned it. I'm not giving it away freely. The question should be, you know, working smart. How has this company, this department, this superior, this boss, this cohort, how they earned this behavior? And if you cannot identify that, or can say, listen, I have in writing that if I work this hard for this amount of time, I'll get a promotion in writing.
Right.
Then you have no justification to be busting your ass for a hope and a dream and a wish and a kiss.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to be jaded, even though I've been told I'm very jaded these days. I'm being realistic. Because had I acted like this, I wouldn't have wasted 16 years at one location to be turned down several times, blocked for transferring, and then it completely ignored for a promotion. 16 years? I'll never forget that. You'll
never get that back.
No, never get that back. You know, never get that back. And that's hurtful. You know, it's hurtful to know, you know, that. So that's why I take this quiet quitting so personally, because that's not what this is. It's God forbid respecting yourself, your time, your energy, and giving it where it's deserved or where it's not deserved, and you being the arbiter of who is allowed to monopolize your time. What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
What's wrong with doing the job as is? Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Anything above the job as is a gift, not a requirement, not a expectation.
And it has to be earned, like you said.
It's a gift. quiet quitting. You will shove that quiet quitting up your ass, TikTok. Because honestly, that's the most condescending phrase that I've been exposed to since I got a distaste in my mouth for the nice guy. I'm telling you, you call me a nice guy, I hate that shit. Quiet quitting, hate that shit. They're on the same level now. I don't even know which one is worse. Because since I don't really associate myself with nice guyness anymore, I think quiet quitting has just gone above it. As like, fuck you. What are you, quiet quitting? What? Grow up. You know, that's why I love hearing Manny's story about how he conducted himself with his old boss. Because when I listen to him, I'm just like, ugh! It jacks me up because it's stuff that I never got to say to my bosses, all 11 women. I mean, do you know how many managers I outlived at that location? All these women. I'm just sitting there just like, which one are you going to uplift me? You know, when are you going to uplift me? You know, I've been here forever. So much so that people say, go to him. He has the knowledge. He has energy. You know, only one person. He wasn't my direct boss, but he was like the head of a bunch of buildings. And he had a temporary office at the location that I was at. He had one number on a post-it on his post-it wall. Mine, Jason, my extension. Because he knew that if he needed to ask a question, he didn't go to his cohort, his administrator assistant or his teammate, because they split it into two factions. He didn't go to that person. He didn't go to his manager, the supervisor, team leader. He went all the way down to this underling and called him. Listen, and this is what he was saying. Historically, and that's it. And once I heard that, I knew he was asking me about something about the procedures of the building and how this policy turned to this policy turned to this policy. Because I knew the shit. I knew the history like the back of my hand. I was there for all of it. I shaped some of it, you know? And one day he calls me to his office and he closes the door. He goes, Jason, you, the only time this has ever happened to me, Jason, you've never, like, why are you sitting there? You never tried to move on or whatever? By then, it was well over 10 years. And I looked at him and said, back in the day I did, but there's no growth here. And you'd be surprised what limited growth, no growth, and no appreciation does to somebody's soul on the clock. I said, all I am now is I'm here to collect a paycheck and try and get out whenever I can. Thank you for thinking of me, and thank you for inquiring about my interest in moving up. But it's not there anymore. The drive isn't there. I don't want to move up in this company. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm here to collect a paycheck because I have kids. It's good benefits. And the minute I find something better, I'm gone. That's what I told him, and it broke his heart. It did. But all the female managers that I had, somebody detached from me was the only one who asked me, what are you trying to do? Where are you trying to go? What are you doing here, bro? Basically what he said. What are you still doing here? Why aren't you should be me, is basically what he was saying. Why aren't you an administrator? Why aren't you on the admin team? Why aren't you on the board? Nobody knows this place but you. Why are you? I said, why are you? And I said, why am I still a peon? I don't know. Let me know. Find out for me. So, and that's the thing. And it's funny because as I began to quiet quit, and for me, it was a slow burn. It took several years to get to that point. I was loathed by management and by I was loathed. They didn't necessarily hate me, but they loathed me. Why? Because I knew they couldn't call upon me to fix the printer or to fix the software or to do this extra thing. They knew because they knew, and I got mad about it. You got mad about me to stop doing what is not part of my job. All the basic IT work, I just got nothing to do with my job. You got mad at me, you started talking crap about me. You started to fuck with me. Oh, we're gonna move you here today. We're gonna move you there today. We're gonna move you here today. And I was like, a word? That's what we're doing now? Okay, cool. Let's do it. Let's see who blinks first. I'm telling you. Why? Because I stopped doing all that extra stuff. Because a lot of what I did, I knew only security should have known how to open up the building. But our security over the years have become very uh
Lackadaisical,
no, yes, but what's the word I want to use? Not irresponsible, you
lazy,
know, not lazy, when you can't count on them. Oh God. Oh my God.
undependable,
Something like that, undependable. They be late or whatever. I had access to open up the entire
unreliable.
unreliable. There you go. They started becoming very, very unreliable. And so I'd be opening up the building physically, not just being present. I'd be physically unlocking doors, unlocking the gates, taking off the chain, turning off the alarm system. These are things that I wasn't even supposed to know how to do. You think that any time that we had missed security and the building couldn't be opened up, you think anybody ever got the manager to hop their happy ass or the administrator, anybody to run their happy ass to come open up the building? Jason did it. He got it. And I did it because I respected my coworkers who needed to clock in and get into the job. Not even the patients, forget them. I felt bad. I said, you know what? They got to clock in. They got to do their jobs. This is going to mess up the entire day. Do you know that when I finally left, I had to give them a post-it note with all the stuff. They didn't know how to do any of it. They didn't know the
I believe it.
code. They didn't know the code.
When
They
I
didn't know
left
none of
the
it.
random casino, it was the same thing for me.
Yeah.
And my boss before that left before me was the same thing. He took everything with him and was just like, I ain't helping nobody over there. He's like, nothing against you, but I hate that place.
Yep. Didn't know a thing.
And that's what happens. Like, and no one, I should say upper management, whoever the hell, that level of executive people, they don't seem to understand that, if you don't treat your people like people,
Yeah.
you get this, right?
Right.
Or if they're the kind of person that maintains and does a lot of tasks and job duties that don't even conform to their own job duties, and that person leaves, what do you have?
Yep.
This whole, oh, we don't need to hire another person to handle or take some of the workload off so we can save money. But now you got to spend more money to hire two people because one person, you're going to get an interview and one person be like, hell no, I ain't doing all that shit. Like, are you crazy? Like, oh, well, this is what the last person did. That last person was an idiot.
Yep.
Like, I ain't doing all that. This is my motto right here. This is this. You see that on the top of the resume? Quiet quitting, bitch.
And now before we wrap this up, I'm gonna play this. This isn't gonna be the devil's advocate, or this is gonna be the unpopular opinion. I don't just blame the admins. I blame us because we allow it to happen.
We become complacent.
We become complacent and we allow it to happen. If employees across all demographics stood up and said, we will not do more than what we are hired to do, that we've agreed upon, without proper compensation, this hustle culture would die down. This whole, oh, you're just doing your job and I'm gonna make your life a living hell because you're not doing it, would die down, because they know that they need to treat you properly and have to earn that. It's because we come in there and because we are at a disadvantage because we need the job, we need the paycheck. We can be replaced, right? Because they know if you leave, they'll find somebody cheaper and doesn't know any better and will do it. But if we all as a people had a backbone and standards and respected ourselves, and we all uniformly come up with a base standard of how we would be treated, things would be different.
Look what happened with Amazon when all those warehouse employees went on strike.
Yeah.
It's because it is.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So it was. And
they
all went on strike.
Right. But that's just one company, one institution. I mean, a standard code, a norm, a standard that you will it's employment is a contract between a person and an entity, and they are to perform their task and nothing more unless they are compensated or they volunteer. If that became the norm, then those who go above and beyond would be appreciated and not used and abused. They say, shit, you are going above and beyond. We need to promote you. We need to keep you around because guess what? Nobody else is going to do that. You're a diamond in the rough. You're a unicorn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And the issue is that you have a lot of states nowadays, especially where it's a right to work state. So you can have all those people go on strike and they won't care. And that's the problem. There's no punishment or I don't want to say acknowledgement. There's another word for it, but I can't remember what it is. But there's nothing to force upper management to do anything for you.
Right.
And that's the problem. They're not damn, what's the word? They're not they don't
ethics.
no,
Code of
it starts with an
conduct?
A. I forgot what it was.
Acquisition.
But it's but there's nothing for them to want to do anything for
incentive.
you. Like there's
Incentive?
not incentive. It starts with an A. But
Incentive.
there's ABC.
What you-
There's nothing there for them to want to do for you because most of them themselves have felt like they've done enough for themselves and that's all they want to do, which is funny because that's all lower level employees are trying to do. They only want to do for themselves, not for everybody else. But when upper management do it, that's just part of the job. When lower level people do it, little peons, it's like, oh well, you're
being selfish. You're
being selfish and
I
you're
told you.
conforming to the nature of your society.
The biggest thing
stupid.
about your stories that I will never forget is when you said that he told you it's what's the best interest of the company, and it was referring to when it between you and what's the best interest for you and your family and your life. It was all about what's the best interest of the company, and I'll never forget that statement you told me that was said to you in your face. The brazenness to say that to somebody, that it's not about you or your life or your responsibilities or even your offspring. Company comes first. I'm saying this, and it is so to you. I will never forget that part of your story. I will tell that to whoever in the future. Is that and when my boss told me the whole "don't be too good at what you do." These things stick with me because that's just raw and highly not unnecessary, but just highly just disappointing to hear.
Oh yeah. And when it was said to me, my response was, but what does the company do for me when I need something from the company besides a paycheck? Let's go beyond the paycheck, because not for nothing, I earned that paycheck with the work that I do.
Exactly.
I didn't just come here and not do anything and they gave me money. I worked for it. So you can't even say that.
Yep.
You're asking me to do something beyond what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
What is asked of me when I was hired. And you're telling me it's for the best of the company. But again, what has the company done for me?
Yeah, quid pro quo.
Nothing.
What you scratch my back, I scratch yours. No, it's
especially.
I mean,
several instances in the past where something has happened and I've acknowledged and I've bowed, I bent the knee and I've done whatever I had to do. And then when the one time I asked for something, I don't get it. So I'm at a point now, it's like, all right, well, what are you gonna do for me now? If I've done so much in the past and I've bled, I've cut my arm off for the sake of the company, and I wanted a piece of bread. Well, we can't do that because the company's not authorized and blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm missing an arm. You can't just give me a piece of bread. It's moldy anyway. I just want to eat shit. I haven't eaten. Like, you can't even do stuff like that for your employees. Like, again, this is what you result. And you can't blame anybody but yourselves. And again, people in society, because again, we've been fed these lies our entire lives. And my take on this whole thing is, I appreciate the fact that people are now conforming to this. This is the new norm. It needs to be this, because if there's no reward for the good work, there should be no good work. Or I'm saying not good work, best work, better work, harder work. If you don't get anything out of it, what's the point? And yeah, you'll even get and for anybody listening, if you had a manager that tells you this stupid statement, well, you get paid for your overtime. It's overtime. That's more money in your pocket. It's not about the money, jackass. It's about the respect of the job, the respect of maybe the manager, and the respect of your coworkers. If I wanted to come and do and if I was only working for the money, I would only do the bare minimum to make that money, because whether I work hard or not, I get paid the same.
Exactly.
Overtime?
Exactly.
Who cares?
Exactly.
Who cares? Because the government strikes you down when it comes to overtime anyways.
Because they like to say that this is a merit system. You know, you get your compensation due to merit, and it's not. It's got nothing to do with that. There's nothing to do with that. Yeah, sure, some people get it. Some places have good ethics, and some places are stand up and they reward those, high, with the high earnings or whatever. But that's not the norm. This is not a merit system. It is a
Nope.
do for us, and
That's
when
it.
we have to, we'll do for you, if we have to,
Yeah.
or we'll dangle it in front of you. That's what it is. Final thoughts on this quiet quitting nonsense?
Get a better term. I hate the term.
Yep.
Bravo for finally making it a thing. I mean, us normal people have been doing this normally anyways. When we don't feel appreciated, we don't do the extra work. It's common knowledge. It doesn't need a name. It's just conforming to your regular duties. I mean, and if don't overdo it. Don't be like the TikTok videos where it's like, I mean, it's 5 o'clock. I'm done now. Sorry, I can't go. Oh, I ran out of time. It's time to punch out. Those are not reality. Those are TikTok videos made for clicks and likes. Don't think that that's the real world. You get into the real world, especially in a right to work state, you can and will be backed into a corner where you will more than likely lose, which is why we're saying just do the bare minimum. They can't fire you for doing your job.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just they can't fire you for doing the bare minimum. They can't fire you for doing extra. They can't fire you for cutting back. Doesn't matter. Just do what your job duty is. It's it. Bare minimum. That's all the job asks you to do. Just do that. If it's the company's problem if they can't meet certain standards and meet certain quotas or whatever have yous and projects taken care of. That's the job's problem. That's not yours. You're there to do one minuscule set of duties and just do that. So again, bravo for making this like a well-known thing. Need a better term though. It's stupid. Very stupid. That's it.
All right. I mean, there's not much more that I can say to that. Again, the term is condescending. It is ridiculous. It does not in any way, shape, or form provide the context about what it really means. Again, you heard me and this boomer over here. We both thought it was something completely different. That quiet quitting, when you think about that, you don't think of what exactly it's referring to. Doing your job, okay? It's ridiculous. It's just asking for fair compensation. You want me to do more? You pay me more. You don't? You pay me for what I've agreed to. And I think more so than just changing the name or just doing your job is that we as a people need to hold our employers to a higher standard of respecting us. And when they respect us, then we can talk about proper compensation and who's going to want to work hard and not want to work hard. To letting them know that, yeah, we need the paycheck, but you need us as the workers. And we all are united saying, this is what we will accept, not pay rate, just standards of respect. Then it won't be the whole, well, we can fire you because we'll find some other Yahoo. No, because the next Yahoo is going to believe exactly what I believe and expect the same treatment. Once you eliminate that part right there, they have to treat you right. They have to compensate you to keep you around because they don't want the typical worker who's just gonna be like, all right, well, this is everything I gotta do. This is all I'm doing. No, I need you. You do 5 more above. I'm gonna keep you around. What can I do to keep you around? Let's keep you around because if you leave, I'm just gonna get this is what I gotta do, worker. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. We need to just unite and be like, listen, this is our standards. We won't do above anything more than what is on paper unless you give us respect and the compensation. That's all I have to say. So that's it for Last of the Nice Guys. I've been Jason. That's been Manny, and thank you for your time. Don't
I got one more announcement to make. Happy birthday, Mama Man.
Happy birthday, Mama Man. Happy birthday.
And this is also like a rough day for the both of us because this was it's my 2-year anniversary for my procedure on my mom's birthday.
You had your nip tuck on your mom's birthday? That's was that intentional?
It was not. It was the earliest appointment that was available.
There's 365 days in the year. How?
COVID times. Remember, it's been 2 years.
There's still 365 days in a year.
At
That
the
means
time that
you had a 1 in 365 chance that would happen. I'm just saying.
at the time that I called, that was the earliest appointment. I mean, it is what it is.
You were that desperate to get this done that you said,
Yes.
screw my mother's birthday, I'm gonna get it done then.
Listen, me and my mother, my mother and I, we both have something to celebrate today. She's a very wonderful woman that brought me into this world, and it's also the same day that I stopped bringing people into this world.
I can't imagine having my mother's birthday come around and I'll always remember that I chopped up my balls the same day. Like, that's hilarious.
I didn't chop my balls; they're still there. God, I gotta explain it to you like
look, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I have made it very clear, okay, that at 40, I'm doing it at 40. I'm giving you 2 more years to meet somebody worthwhile, that I'd be willing to procreate with. And after that, not to say that it's reversible. I'm not gonna do that again on my balls. You lost your goddamn mind. I'm doing it one time. On my 40th birthday, I am snipping it up. It's happening. But
I'll be there with you.
While I'm still holding hands, good. While I'm still in my 30s and relatively young, I'm going to wait, because I know the universe. The universe hates my ass. I'll get it done tomorrow and meet the love of my life a week later, and I'll be like, bitch, I can't undo this. I'm not. What? And then we that's what the universe will do.
Are you citing one of my stories, you bitch? Too soon. I'm sorry.
Oh, shit, yeah. that is your fucking story. Yes. Holy fuck. I didn't mean that. That was unintentional. That was unintentional. But yeah, see? So the universe can do it to fucking Manny. You know the universe is just waiting for me. It's like this. So but yeah, good. But again, happy birthday, Mama Man. I have to meet her. That'd be great. Maybe one day you do like some kind of like dinner party at your place, and maybe I'll get to go to the door. What was it? Because I came downstairs. I've driven by your place. Maybe you'll give me a to-go plate, and she can come down and greet me as I'm driving by.
I mean, my mom only comes down here so very often. So
all right, so we go up there. It's a good excuse, Yeah,
I have to make a trip up there for missing her birthday this week.
Yeah, so like me, you, your daughters, and we just all go up there like a family.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting to pitch to my mom.
Not that kind of family.
Hey, Mom, this is my other family member over here.
This is Jason. Who? All right. We are out of this bitch. Again, thanks for tuning in, and thank you for your time. Fuck Joe.
The last of the nice guys. Follow, like, and subscribe on Twitter and Instagram at Last Nice Guys, Facebook.com/Last Nice Guys, or email lastoftheniceguys@yahoo.com.